We figure out why Josh Minott isn't playing, what Joe Mazzulla is trying to do with Jordan Walsh, Minott, and Hugo Gonzalez and Luka Garza and all that mess, what it means for now and what it means for the future. A definitive plan right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT. Karalis recap the madness every game, every practice. Prime time, Depp and D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising business, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts when they play on the weekends. And this is January now. Happy New Year. They play on a ton of Fridays and Saturdays, so there's going to be a ton of extra podcasts for you. They're all going to be free. They're available everywhere. So make sure you're subscribed. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section. Share your thoughts with me. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis, beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've been covering this team for about 20 years now. And I've been doing this podcast for 10, and I've written a couple of books about this team. So I love talking about the Boston Celtics. Today, we're talking about the wings, these, the Minott, Walsh, Gonzalez, triumvirate, what Luka Garza has to do with all of that. And we're going to get to a definitive plan in the third segment. We'll figure out all of that stuff in the first and second segments. The third segment, we hit on it. I think we landed on what all of this means. So I think it's going to be a fun show. And joining me to talk about all of this, as always, Tom Westerholm.
Thank you. Can't do it.
My box is too small. I want to do the old Scott Hall, but I can't get my arms to do the box thing on YouTube. For people who are listening, they're just like, stop referencing only the video stuff. We can't see what you're doing. Yeah. So I'd want to say, well, close your eyes and imagine, but I'm sure a lot of people are driving. And so please don't close your eyes when you're driving.
Yeah. And please don't watch the YouTube while you're driving.
Oh, don't watch the YouTube while you're driving. All of that stuff is, yes, all of that stuff. So, all right. So the Celtics, I talked about this at the end of the podcast last night, but people don't always make it to the end of the podcast. So, and I think it's worth a bigger discussion. The way I put it, Tom, and you tell me, it feels like we're like, oh, okay, well, I guess Josh Minott's out of the rotation now. Yeah. And that means Ugo's in, and it means Josh is the starter, and then it's just how it is now. As soon as we say that's how it is now, Joe Mazzulla goes, nope, and changes things. So it's funny. Someone tweeted at me and was like, the old Roddy Piper clip is like every time you think you have the answers, I change the question. And it's very Joe Mazzulla. I think Joe Mazzulla is about to change the question on us.
I mean, I could see it. I think it is. I think if we wanted to start with the Minott thing, it is fascinating that he's just not part of things, really. Like
this podcast, is he going to be too expensive?
Yeah. I mean, smart people were having that conversation, right? Like he started off the year really, really well. I think, there were always the questions like, is the shot real? Because not that he was a bad shooter previously, but he wasn't, he was certainly on a bit of a hot streak at the start of the season.
Yes.
But just, looking at his profile as a player, wondering whether he could outprice himself out of where Boston would be comfortable paying, wondering if he would do that was not by any means crazy. Like NBA teams will trip and fall over themselves to find a player with Josh Minott's measurables and who can, who plays as hard as Josh Minott does. I think that's one of the things that's bizarre to me about him falling out of the rotation is this is a guy who plays really hard, and it's a guy who is very coachable. Like Joe Mazzulla gets on him all the time, and Minott's just like, yeah, all right, bet, yell at me some more. I want to hear all of it. And it's like, I mean, how is this guy not only not starting, how is this guy not playing 48 minutes a game for Mazzulla? He loves that kind of crap.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a good place to take this conversation because it is like, okay, so why?
Yeah.
And my only thing is that he's not getting something. He's not getting it. He's not getting certain rotations. He's not picking up what they need him to do. And I think it's one of those, maybe we could have seen it coming because they were using him as the small ball center. And it's like, that felt like, now in retrospect, you say, well, was that more out of necessity? Like the Luka Garza thing might be the biggest kind of change in all of this. They went back to Luka Garza.
Right.
He's been great. And so instead of
ironically, for much the same reason that Josh Minott is great, which is he plays as hard as he possibly can at all times.
Yep. Looks like he played in the sauna. That's the joke. I think Bobby Kravitsky is the one who said that to me, and I'm going to latch on to that. And just every time he plays, it looks right. It does. He looks like, I don't know what it is, but it seems like whatever game Luka Garza is playing, he comes out of it looking like he's played twice as hard or in a place that's twice as hot. He just has this aesthetic of like, man, that dude is out there working like crazy.
Listen, he's from Minneapolis. Like if you grow up in Minnesota, I think he's from Minneapolis, right? That's right. Like if I think that so I know he played pro-ams in Minneapolis and he's got kind of a, Minnesota type look about him per se. But if I'm right and he's from Minnesota, everywhere else you go is much warmer, so
yeah.
Maybe there's something
born in Washington, DC.
Oh.
But like, I don't know. I gotta see where he grew up. But so
he went to college in Iowa. Iowa is where I'm from, and it is cold.
Okay, yeah. Continue. So he's like the opposite of like Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown makes it look easy. Jaylen Brown works like crazy. And you look at him, you're like, man, he's barely breaking a sweat. Like he makes it look easy.
Yeah.
Luka Garza makes it look hard. He just makes it look like, oh my God, is he pulling a tractor trailer while also trying to rebound? And sometimes he runs like he is. But anyway,
he played college ball in Iowa. That he might have done that before.
He might have. It feels like an Iowa thing to do.
It does.
So he's back, and that means Josh, like those small ball line, we haven't seen any of those. And we were starting to have that discussion about, are the small ball lineups really, did we reach their end? Did we reach the conclusion of that story? And maybe that's it. Maybe Josh as the small ball center was fine in some instances, but it just wasn't doing the trick. It wasn't there. It wasn't what it was supposed to be defensively. And because of that, they needed to go to a different route. And a lot of the minutes that Josh was getting, now those are the ones that went away. But still, there's no wing minutes out there for him, especially since Jordan Walsh has also kind of slipped a little bit. Like I'm really fascinated by all of this. I mentioned the stat on the show yesterday. Jordan went 9 straight games with at least 1 steal, a few games with 3, many games with multiple.
Yeah.
And then in his last 5, he's had 1 total in his last 5. So he went from like poking the ball free and getting into passing lanes and being a menace to the point where I was like, geez, if he's going to keep doing this often, he needs to be like learning some point guard skills, because the 1 steal that he got in these past 5 games, he immediately turned it back over with an offensive foul.
Yeah.
So if he's starting to slip and he only played 13 minutes and change in this last game, wouldn't Josh be kind of like, I thought they were interchangeable. I thought they were both the long rangy wings and they could interchange and you could still have Hugo in there. But if I think maybe the thing I'm most confused about is, why isn't it just 48 minutes of long rangy big wing who can really defend and has had a questionable jump shot that happened to be hitting this year? They're both the same type of player. So
yeah,
why not both?
I don't know. I like, that's what I don't know. It is odd. The Walsh is, I don't want to call it a slip. I think part of the problem for Walsh is that when he started off, right, it was like, what is happening? Who is this guy? Why is there this menace? Why are all these arms? They're so long. Why are they in my space? Right? You're the opponent. You're trying to dribble. It's like, no, Jordan Walsh is not going to let you do that. He's just a menace defensively. And then you have Austin Reeves says, hey, this guy could be an all defense player, right? You got like people started to notice him. People started to be more aware of him. And, a little bit of an element of surprise thing, right? Like he's on scouting reports now. He's not just some guy who was in the G League last year. Like he's somebody that, okay, we've game planned for this guy. I think maybe just don't dribble the ball around him as much. And, if you do that, like, I don't know, you can cut out some of the problem, right? And you can find ways to get him off your primary ball handlers. And when you do that, I mean, you do negate some of the good stuff with Jordan Walsh, because so much of the good stuff was just that he was taller, longer armed Avery Bradley, right? Like that was so much of what made him good. And, it's something that he's going to have to adjust to too. It's something they're all going to have to adjust to, but it is weird that I don't know. It's been such an odd season with those three, like, especially, I mein, Hugo, it's a little bit less weird. It's just like, oh, there's this really promising guy in there. But like with Minott and Walsh, there has been this element of, there's something that's hard to pin down about both their success and then their subsequent winding down within the rotation.
It's just, I think maybe it just that no one's good enough. No one's good enough to take advantage of the opportunity. I'm
still good. So high on Walsh that I don't want to quite go there. Like I'm fully bought in on Jordan Walsh Island. Like, so okay. I don't want to see my property value dip. So I don't like these words that you're saying. But
well, I'm going to keep saying them when we come back, because I think that is part of what we're talking about here. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. During basketball season, we know there's nothing like being in the building. If you haven't been in the building, you are missing out. Energy, the crowd is crazy. A big run where the crowd is going nuts, especially at TD Garden. If you haven't been there, man, it is absolutely electric in there. If you haven't been to a game at TD Garden, you want to go, you want to take a trip to Boston, use the Game Time app to get your tickets. It gives you the advantage. It makes it super easy to score amazing tickets. It's fast. It's simple. You take the guesswork out of everything. I have used Game Time. It's a product that I have used multiple times to buy tickets to sporting events. It's straightforward. It's intuitive. You can see the view from your seat as soon as you click on what tickets. It shows you what you're going to see. Very important. The price that you see is the price that you're going to pay. Very important. If you want to shop for good deals, use the Zone Deals. That unlocks great seats at an even better value. So NBA games, but also maybe football playoffs. You want to get into a playoff game, concerts, theater show, it's all on there. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKED, for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today and get in on the action. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. It's the #1 Celtics podcast on the #1 sports podcast network. I want to thank you so much for doing that. Now you want to go up a level, check out the new Everydayer Club. You get access to ad-free audio, which is compatible with your Apple Podcast, Spotify. You don't have to download a different app or anything like that. You get access to the Everydayer Club Discord server, which is a group chat as well. So you can get that for games and merchandise drops. It's all at lockedonceltics.supercast.com. $5 a month, $50 for the year. So you can save a little bit if you pay it all up front. So check it out, lockedonceltics.supercast.com. All right, let's get back into the conversation with Tom Westerholm here. If one of these guys was good enough, Tom, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And maybe they're not good enough yet. Maybe they will be. They're young. They're both young guys. Hugo Gonzalez is young. I feel like Hugo is the one with the inside track. He's the guy that when I look at him, I can tell he's special. I've gushed about him. We've done a whole episode about Hugo with the Christmas Carol theme. My feelings about Hugo have been made clear. So even if he's in and out of this mix this season, I'm not worried about that. I think he's part of the future.
Yeah.
Walsh and Minott, you can't have all of these guys as part of the future. Like, this is not a team where, as much as we like to fall in love with the group that's in front of us, and they are a likable group. This is a likable bunch of guys. We can't just say, oh, you just got to plug Jayson Tatum in here and boom, you're ready. Like, no. You got to make changes. And that means you got to open up roster spots, which means one of these guys is probably gone next year. Minott or Walsh or Garza. Like, all of these guys aren't coming back.
Yeah.
So I guess is it pressure, do you think, for anybody to be like, oh my God, like Jordan is fouling a lot and now he's getting frustrated? Do you think there's pressure on that? Do you think Minott is feeling pressure? Like, I think there could be a little something here where there's a, because no one's able to take control, Joe Mazzulla has to go with a bunch of different directions, and you're going to have like 3 DMPs, and then you're going to have 3 starts, and you're going to have DMPs again. I don't know. I just think mentally, this is just all a mental thing, is basically where I'm getting at.
Well, I mean, there's clearly pressure in some degree, right? Because if you're looking up and down the Celtics roster, it's like, if you fall out of the rotation, like Joe Mazzulla might just literally bury you under TD Garden and you'll never be seen again. Like, we haven't seen Chris Boucher in quite some time. Like, that dude is like really not in the rotation. And if you're Josh Minott, I mean, especially after the way you started the season and all the starts you got and all that, it would be a shame. I mean, I feel like if you get an opportunity, you better play well, because there are a lot of wings. If you're Minott, there's a lot of guys who are like absolutely qualified to potentially play ahead of you. And Joe Mazzulla isn't gonna just give you minutes because it's your turn. Like, he doesn't do that. Like, one of the things that's interesting, right, is you look up and down this roster and it's like, okay, so not only do Minott and Walsh have each other to deal with, they also have Baylor Shireman, who plays, actual minutes. They also have Sam Hauser, who of course is going to play actual minutes. These are all guys at the wing position that they are also competing for with minutes. And obviously that all comes with the knowledge that, okay, 37-ish, minutes a game are going directly to Jaylen Brown. Right. And, in a pinch, the Celtics could very easily like play Derek White up, right? Have like Peyton Pritchard, the 1, Derek White, the 2. I mean, there's nothing stopping them from trying to line up with 3 guards, right? There are a lot of options that this group could do. So, is there pressure? Yeah, absolutely. I think there is, because you could just get buried. Like, there's nothing guaranteeing you any playing time on this roster, because there are so many wings and so many different kind of versatile options there.
I agree with you. Like, there's this feeling of like, well, Joe sees something. Okay, this is what the game needs. All right, it's Luka Garza now. It's whomever, and he doesn't care who it is. Like, it could be Chris Boucher, and he did dip into that once fairly recently, and it didn't work. And then Boucher was kind of like buried again. That's what I mean. Like, you better, you got this little window. You better hit it. It's, I think for me, like, it's part of the it's actually part of the good coaching job that he's done, that all of these guys who fall out of the rotation then jump back into the rotation are like ready to go for the most part, except for Boucher. Like, Luka Garza was out. We talked about, like, he was done. And I probably said 2-3 times in his stretch of DMPs, like, yeah, he looks like he isn't grasping things. He's still a problem defensively, and so on and so forth. Then he comes in and he just dominates the offensive glass and plays with an effort and an energy that is infectious and changes games. And you know what? Maybe that's just what the Celtics need right now. Maybe it's simple as Luka's the only one willing to put in that level of run through a wall and go out there, and they need the offensive rebounding. We talk about the Celtics' absolute crappy, the terrible defensive rebounding. And what has Joe said all along? We know we're not going to be good. We just can't be the worst.
Yeah.
And they've been the worst, but that small lineup that we talked about earlier with Josh at center is so god awful at rebounding.
The worst of the worst. Yeah.
The worst of the worst at rebounding. And they're not doing the other things. The whole concept for the Celtics this season is we know we're going to be bad defensive rebounding. We just got to be okay enough. Not even average. Below average is fine. Just not the worst.
Yep.
And then the next part is we got to make up for it by forcing turnovers and offensive rebounding ourselves.
Yep.
So it's up to Josh and Jordan to do those things. If Josh isn't a plus in that area, then he's not going to play. If Jordan's not a plus in that area, he's not going to play. Garza, you can say, is not the best defensively, but he crashes those boards, those offensive boards, so relentlessly that he changes the game. Like, he at least gives the Celtics, he ups that meter to a level where it's like, okay, we're getting so many more possessions. We're getting so many more opportunities there that this year, this team, this is what we need right now to win games. Let's chew on that for a second, because I think that's an important space to be in. And I'm not so sure that that's what they're going to need next year. So it may just be a 1-year thing. So we'll touch on that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Fridays feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better every Friday night but right before the games. FanDuel is giving you a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. It's your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. It's 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Open the FanDuel app during NBA Happy Hour. You get something new, boosts, bonuses, surprises, and you can check that before every game, right before the window closes. Again, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So it gives you a little extra energy on that Friday night basketball without having to overthink it. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app. See what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel. Make sure you're using the tools that are available there so you set your limit, set your budget. You're gambling responsibly. FanDuel will help you stop when you hit your limit. Whatever you can afford to lose, whatever your disposable income is, then you stop. In a couple of weeks or whatever, you come back and you can pick it right back up. Check it out on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Locked On NBA, Locked On NBA Game Night. It's a great second listen. Locked On NBA Game Night, 7 nights a week, covering the whole league, every game. Locked On NBA, covering all the big stories, the big storylines. You can check that out. You can also check out Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Josh Lloyd is going to help you win your league. So lots going on, especially with guys getting hurt. Who's going to step up? Who's going to step up in Nikola Jokic's absence? Which nuggets are going to be worth picking up on your fantasy team? So Josh Lloyd's going to have you that on Locked On Fantasy Basketball. All right, Tom. So the whole goal of this season is to figure out who fits next to Tatum and Brown next season and how they're going to do that. But also, Joe Mazzulla is like, hey, we want to win games. And it's like a dual path. Maybe this is as simple as Luca helps us with the offensive rebounding thing, but maybe that's not something that they're going to need moving forward necessarily, not in that same way, because theoretically there'll be another center here, and it's going to be another center plus Nemi, however that dynamic works out. Tatum's going to be back. There's going to be a lot more defensive rebounding, and the situation's going to change.
I do think that's possible. I mean, as complicated as we're making this to some degree, it also could just be, like you're saying for next year, it could just be as simple as like Hugo is going to be the guy going forward, right? Like that might, like Occam's razor, that might be it, right? Like
it's true.
Here's a fun stat for you, right? You know how like on cleaning the glass, they have the expected wins, for a player, right? Like it's this differential between, it's the efficiency differential, they call it. It's like And here's how high do you like? The second highest Celtic, right, is Anthony Simons is Kada at plus 15. He's got the second highest efficiency or the win. Goodness, sorry. He has the second highest expected win number on cleaning the glass at 15. The highest is Hugo. How high do you think Hugo's is?
So if Nimi's plus 15,
yes,
Hugo's been like out of this world. I say plus 20,
plus 30. Like
plus 30.
He is making this team so much better whenever he's on the floor. And like, I mean, to some degree, it's like, all these complicated questions about these guys, and I still, like I said, I'm still very high on Jordan Walsh. I think that like the, Avery Bradley with longer arms guy is still really interesting, right? Like the Marcus Smart kind of elements of his game. Like I would not give up on him by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But when you look at like your Minotts and, some of these other guys who I still think there's a lot of promise there. I mean, it might just be as simple as like, hey, Celtics have this 19-year-old kid who is ready to win now and who is only getting better and who is going to help you win later next year when winning all of a sudden becomes, it's Jaylen Brown's, age 30 year. It's a big Tatum season. It's like winning now becomes way more important next year than it even does this year. And you've got this guy who helped you win in a year when nobody thought you were going to win as much as you did. Like, I think you're onto something. I think that's where we're going to settle this. I think that's where this settles. Yeah.
I think there's two things that are happening here. Number one, Hugo is so good and also so young that you're like, okay, he's going to be in and out this year, but what his in and out this year doesn't mean much because his is a developmental thing.
Yeah.
And he's already ahead of what people would normally think of a guy his age. So Hugo is already better than Walsh. He's already better than Minott, and he's going to be much better than those guys. And he's on a path to be a very big part of this team's future for a while, I think. At the same time, you get Neemias Queta here, and his backup is Luka Garza. Garza's taking the minutes because he's a hell of an offensive rebounder.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be a skill I believe is as coveted next year if they get the center, whomever it is that they're looking for, whether it's a backup to Nimi or a starter ahead of Nimi, which we'll see. So if that ends up being the case, which we believe that's going to be where it trends, right? Like, so Tatum comes back, the center position gets shored up, Hugo Gonzalez steps up, and that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for it. Gets you one of maybe Jordan or Josh, and Jordan's been here for a while, and Jordan seems to be moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So it might just end up being Jordan, but it's like I think those two guys are fighting for maybe a bigger spot than 8th or 9th, but it may be the 8th or 9th man next year because Brad's team's gonna make a ton of moves. And so what's happening now in the short term is Joe Mazzulla is gonna throw every game. He just picks up a bunch of stuff and throws it at the wall. And it's like, okay, this has been working so far. We're going to start Jordan. Just keep going with the Jordan thing. And if that doesn't work, we're going to go with Hugo. And if that doesn't work, okay, now Josh is going to get his opportunity. And that's why you have Jordan starting with DMPs and then Hugo getting DMPs and then Josh getting DMPs and then Luca getting DMPs.
Yeah.
And this year is that's what this year is always going to be. And next year is next year, and it's a completely different thing, and it may involve a lot of completely different players. But I like where we are. I like where we are with this. I think you're right. I think Hugo's going to be the guy, and he's already separated himself.
I think so. And I think, you talk about the guys getting DNPs. I think the other thing that might be coming into play here is, like you said with Garza, right? He kind of didn't have it for a little bit there. He gets a bunch of DNPs and he comes back and he's just a bat out of hell, just flying around trying to get every offensive rebound. I mean, maybe you just do that a bunch and see how that works. Like, okay, Josh Minott kind of didn't have it for a little bit there. When he comes back, can he also be a bat out of hell? Because he's had some time to rest, and because this team is going to go as far as Jaylen Brown can take them, right? Mm-hmm. But secondarily, what it needs is guys who are just flying around and playing as hard as they can at all times, right? So if you can buy, maybe you just, if a guy doesn't have it, all right, you're out for 3 weeks, see ya. Yeah. Go, put your feet up on the bench, go take an ice bath, whatever. I'll give you a chance again in 3 weeks. If you got it, then great. But when you come back in, I need to see you everywhere all at once, all the time. I need to see you flying. I think that might be part of it too. Is just okay, if you don't got it, that's fine. But just know I've got guys who can replace you until you got it again. So bye. Go. I'll see you, and then come back when you're ready. I'm
going to say the same thing to you, Tom, because the podcast is over. Bye, Tom. Come back when you're ready.
Okay. All right.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank
you to Tom. It's a good ending place there. I think Tom's completely right. That's a good place to end the podcast. Chime in the comments. Let me know what you think. Share your thoughts. Become an everydayer. If you're not, Monday through Friday, join me every Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts. Tons of bonus podcasts coming up this weekend. And then I would love it if you share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.